Howdy-ho, everyone. I am Nathan Blake, and welcome back to Control. I'm pretty excited because this is just a cool game in general. So our next objective is to cleanse the Hiss-corrupted agent. We have this person over here who's floating around and who has an icon on it. And as you can see from far away, we get that like crystal-y sort of thing. So that's something I was thinking about is when we've had objectives in the past, that has kind of happened around it. So that is whatever entity we have communication with inside our own brain that we've been working with, that's it. So let's go ahead and see what happens whenever we try to save this person. Goodness. We were talking about how it wasn't maybe quite as spooky as some games. That was pretty spooky. I mean, wasn't the worst, but oh, are they dead now?
It didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
Ripping it out rips them apart.
Whenever I shot that other person who was hissed, they just disappeared too. Oh.
We need to make a plan, Jesse.
Oh, there you are. I was thinking you were in there. So we're back in our office, which you guys probably haven't seen me here in quite a while, unless you perhaps watched some of the Dr. Fusion Frequency we did here a couple months ago as well. But back here, all set up again. Internet is not doing as well here as I would like it to, but definitely better than it was in the hotel room. So we'll see. You know, I don't know. There could be, you know, visual or audio issues since we just moved, and this will be my first recording here. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Like, that's one of the things about the long play series is that sometimes quality will probably shift just a little bit on them, and it's not as big of a deal, because if you're here for the hour-long continuing 10-hour, 20-hour series, then hopefully you'll forgive me for a one episode with slightly wonky sound or something.
I can't cleanse them.
Yeah, it ain't working.
It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than them floating there dying for forever. Although they might have been fine if we had, like, I don't know,
tell her why I'm here.
figured out what the problem was.
I'll risk it. Listen, the Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary.
Is that the name of the town?
The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time. That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I guess Dylan is her brother.
I've seen mentions of an altered world event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child?
Yeah.
It was one of the big ones.
I'm pretty cool.
Before my time. And very classified.
What do you mean big
I can
ones?
try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us. Or a few of us.
Interesting.
And Director Trench would know.
Trench. The ghost, or whatever he is. He mentioned something called the Hotline. Said I should find it.
Yeah, you got a bat phone around here somewhere?
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone. A direct line of communication between the director and the board.
Who are the board? Where are the board?
Clearly through that. I mean, Trench has years and years of experience. He might know how to destroy the hiss.
So if I talk to the board, I'll talk to him?
Where
Did he
is
join
the
the board?
hotline? It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's the head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
Stupid. The department gives you safety gear.
They
You
call
should
me
probably
the
wear it.
director,
Just say it.
but that's not me. I'm not a director type. I'm not a leader.
I mean, the gun picked you, so sorry. Sorry about
Why
you.
am I here?
Apparently because you're the
I
director.
think you already know.
I don't know.
Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too.
What are these reasons? I don't
said
know.
I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them.
Don't assume what I know.
I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough.
Yeah,
No
we
matter
know
what
the place
they told me
exists.
all those years, I know it's real now.
Hey, look, it's Magneto's cell
I
from
didn't
X-Men
imagine
2.
this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
So she's not, like, out for revenge. She's out for just sheer... She wants this. She wants to be a part of this. Interesting. I didn't guess that. The carpet there gives me kind of like The Shining sort of feel. And that chair looks great. Resolution on this is... just chef kiss. Mwah. It is a bat phone. Guys, it's the bat phone. Let's go get the bat phone.
Look, I know this is all new to you, so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know.
Oh, can
There
I
are
question
no
you?
stupid questions.
Can I question you?
The
What is this
hotline should be in the communications department.
Okay, cool. So there's like choices here that we can make. I'm sure it's not like a branching path line or anything like that, but we can actually like ask specific questions and stuff and try to figure out information. That's cool. Origin of the hiss.
Where
What's
did
going
the hiss
on?
come from?
I'm not sure. You said the
I
hiss
figured.
was here when you entered. Did you see anything like that outside before you came in?
No. No, just inside.
I wonder if it has something to do with the oldest
source
house.
Is internal then. See, the oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the hiss to destroy it.
With you on that, Emily.
Okay, so there is either an object in the house or the house is connected to somewhere else that the hiss came from, and then the house is protecting the rest of the world from it, theoretically. And or this is some sort of weird defensive mechanism that the oldest house has created.
You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
It's
This
this building.
the bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place.
Yes, it's like the
You've
room
seen
of
it.
requirement?
Transcends its physical limits.
I've been to New York a few times. How didn't I notice this place?
It's an attribute of the building. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't like attention, so unless you're purposely trying to find it, you don't, which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to be noticed. And we need strong walls to make sure nothing gets out.
So without you, I never would have found the front door. Okay.
Who is the entity inside of our head? They seem to be connected to the Bureau in some way. And the other question that I find very interesting is, does the oldest house pull like a room of requirement, Harry Potter sort of thing, where it just becomes what it needs to be? Or is it just like a very nebulous space that you're able to literally just do construction in, and it just expands ever onward? So if you go in and you tear down a wall in the oldest house and you put up a new wall, it just creates space that it needs. So you can keep expanding it and move into the unknown blank territory outside the walls of the oldest house? Or is it, even though it's larger than it looks like on the outside, is it still a finite place, just not as finite as it looks? So when you tear down a wall, is there nothingness behind it that you could expand into, or is it somehow confined? Can you even tear down walls? I don't know. It does seem to update itself, though, because the whole I'm the director thing, it knew.
This trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me?
I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense, but an echo maybe. See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data. But that's just a hypothesis on my part. I'd need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will.
Seems like a overly specific theory to be like, yeah, it's probably the bullet in his brain sending back telemetry. Okay, objects of power.
Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all, well, new to me.
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she
No.
memorize this?
Not really.
Got it. Thanks.
So it's like the Speed Force. All of this stuff is just grasping power from another dimension. It doesn't really have power itself. And it's all connected to the same force. Because it all, she says, from the astral plane. It's not like there's a bunch of things that are gaining power and stuff from somewhere else. Interesting. We'll see. Also, I'm wondering about lighting on this. I don't know. I don't know if I like the lights being on the same side of me as the camera. I might move the lights over here. Leave the camera here. What do you guys like? Do you like the side of my face facing the camera to be more shadowy, or to be lit up? I guess that's the question.
So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. I mean, each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
It's interesting. Perhaps he...
Thanks. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Perhaps he made a mistake
Just let me know.
caused the hiss to come out. Or it could be that he, and obviously, I mean, this is no less of a logical jump than there is a bullet in his brain shooting out telemetry with the director. So I'm going to just go ahead and make an assumption here and assume that I'm right until proven otherwise. But what if, there's time travel or something involved? He was able to look in some way into the future or come back in some way from the future and then had that information. So, okay, so we do have a map here that will help us figure out where we need to go next. I'm assuming it's that yellow spot on the map. So if I had to guess, it's going to be through that door there. So this here appears to be a save space / well, not a save space because there's just but it's the equivalent, it's got, oh, hey, that's cool. That's really helpful. I never noticed before today that our objective is always highlighted by whatever entity is in our brain, which I'm getting suspicious it might be our brother, but at the same time, it could be literally anything.
There it is again. A welcome message.
Oh, okay, we've got a new weapon here. What's that one here? Oh, there's lots of stuff that we've got updated now. Okay. Exclusive to Shatter. Okay, so we can't use that one. So that's a different upgrade, weapon upgrade or something. Health recovery per element or energy recovery speed. I'm guessing right now that health recovery is more important. I don't even know if energy is a thing, and if it is, it's just what, sprint? I don't need more sprint right now. Unknown caller. Emily instructs Jesse to find the hotline, an object of power in the form of an old telephone, to understand the messages from the dead director trying to communicate with her. They hope he can provide insight into the Hiss invasion. So I'm wondering if he ended up, actually on the board. Is the board all of the people who held the service weapon before you having died? Moved on to the next life or something? Interesting. Super interesting. Only person you should fail is yourself. Okay, I think that's the only really thing. Oh, we've got this one here. The Hiss manifests in human hosts in numerous ways. The most common and least intense form is seen in the many corrupted agents floating throughout the Bureau. The Hiss agents have maintained their human appearance, undergoing no obvious physical transformation. The most notable distinction from an unaffected human is the fact that they levitate. These Hiss have displayed no aggressive behavior. They only seem interested in vocalizing the strange incantation of infinitum. Perhaps these vessels are only meant to propagate the Hiss corruption, like spores or Wi-Fi boosters. Or are they cocoons, preparing to enter their next stage of evolution? When attacked, Hiss agents disappear, perhaps entering a state of invisibility or undergoing a transformation into a purely resonant form. Research is ongoing. Refer to blank for full report. Okay, so that's super interesting, helpful to know. I think this one, yeah, that was one of the ones we'd already read, I think. So I think we are caught up for the most part. No, one of these is, oh, no, that's right. It was this one and this one. It said there was 2 unreads. Okay, so that's good. So theoretically, when these burst, the person doesn't even necessarily die. They might be turning into some, like, frequency entity instead of, like, turning into the, you know, light spectrum as opposed to being dead. I'm gonna choose to believe that, considering the fact that I've shot a handful of them and also just vaporized that one just by touching him. So, hello, sir? Are you alive? You alive? Okay. He's not alive. Oh, hello. You are, though. Okay. There was that. Ow. Okay, there. Wow, his gun. His gun came all the way over here. His gun flew as far as one of his bullets would have gone. It's a projectile gun, which maybe sounds normal, but it's not, because that's not what I mean. All right, got this here. So this is unrefined material. This must have something to do with something I can't do yet, like a level up system or something. Is that a stapler or an altered item? I love that. That's great. Okay, travel costs. Visited following Nevada accommodations: Desert Sun Inn, Big Sky Motel, Starlight Motel, In and Out, Aztec Court, Sleep E-Bear Motel, Silver Spurs Ranch, El Gato Blanco Inn, A+ Lodge. Accommodations: $800, meals, gasoline, minibar, asterisk. The boys in research are performing rituals, may help identify any places of power. Drinking these little whiskeys is my ritual. I do wonder if a motel called the Ocean View is going to be found in a landlocked state. But hey, I guess I'm not paid to think, right? And for the record, I again request that you give us the budget to get 2 rooms each night. Agent Raleigh and myself are tired of sleeping in the same room. See you on the road. Okay. All right, so they're out looking for some sort of room that wow, it's spooky sounding out there. One of the other really interesting ones that fits into this idea, similar to SCP, Control, Warehouse 13, the Librarians, is the Lost Room. And if you haven't ever seen the Lost Room, I really suggest you go try to track it down. It's one of these, like, rooms of power, objects of power sort of things. And it's super cool. It follows a guy whose daughter disappears into a essentially magical hotel room that can only be accessed through a key. And then he finds out that there are other powerful items. And it's really interesting. It's super cool. What is up with this? Oh, okay.
It's overpowering.
Sure,
here.
I'm not allowed there.
You don't want me anywhere near it. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If it's gonna make me go brain dead, then I'm not gonna worry about it. Ooh, okay, hello. No. Where are your friends? I'm certain you're not here alone. Okay. Okay, ooh, hello. You are just right up in my business. Sorry, my aiming is not going to be as good as it was last time. Because oh wow, he almost killed me. Unfortunately, although my setup here is like really good for my general needs and for it being in my house in a way that I can rearrange it and stuff if I need to and stuff like that, I don't really have a desk. These are essentially TV trays that we're working on right now. Not quite as bad as that, but I really maybe need to come up with a slightly... I didn't know I could do that. Okay. I just saw my reticle change colors, and so I shot it, and now I kind of regret it. Anyway. Essentially, I'm playing on TV trays. So my aim and stuff is not going to be as good as it was in some cases. Okay, we've got some new information on a couple of these things. Okay. An auditory event occurred at the United States Embassy in Havana during the majority of diplomatic staff stationed, injuring the majority of diplomatic staff stationed there. Deaths were reported and the outgoing information has been managed. Bureau agents arrived at the embassy on the same day as the event was reported, through federal channels, but were too late to witness the awe, which is reported to have been blank. Staff experienced sudden, intense vibrations and noise accompanied by intense pressure in the ears, so they were experiencing the hiss in Havana. The scene was cordoned off, and the embassy staff were reported to be continental U.S. After Formula I-9 was recited in the vicinity, a single cowboy boot began to vibrate, identifying as an altered item. The item was obtained and brought to the Bureau for examination. Oh! This is tying into some real-world events. There was a thing on 60 Minutes just 2 or 4 weeks ago, and apparently it's been going on for a while. But there was a thing in Havana where agents did complain that they were having these weird episodes with pressure in their head and a weird sound, and that they were like losing memory and stuff. This is something that actually happened, and the game is tying it in to make it like supernatural instead of like whatever it turned out to be, which I think they decided that originally they thought it was like some sort of sound attack, and then they decided that it was mass paranoia, and I think more recently they decided maybe it was microwave attacks or something. I don't think they still actually know what it was, but it started happening all over the world. You should look it up. 60 Minutes sound attacks on American diplomats and agents. Maybe we'll get you there. I don't know. It's really wild. Let's see. It looks like we have at least one more thing. Hiss barrier. The hiss resonance field is a physical impediment that is difficult to define. Hiss barriers appear as ways to impede escape or access by Bureau personnel. 2 methods have been discovered for lowering them. 1, destroy the multiple concentrated resonance sources found in the vicinity. 2, destroy the hiss entities in the area. The resonance field seems to require support for their size and density for other non-connected sources of hiss resonance. Without the ability to draw from these sources, the barrier will fall. Does an inactive structure made of hiss resonance qualify as a conscious being? Does the distinction make any difference when considering the hiss? What does the very act of building walls to prevent our movement tell us about the hiss? To what degree is it watching and planning? Refer to blank for full report. So even though this is fairly new to them, they clearly had some information about the hiss. Or some of these files are made kind of concurrently with concurrently with what's happening in the game. So this appears to be a situation where I'm going to level up in such a way that I'm able to access areas that I wasn't able to access before. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me right now. Because there are things that are in my way right now that are keeping me from moving forward in certain directions. So I'm going to have to gain some sort of ability that either allows me to cleanse areas or shields me from certain types of damage or something. And I'm also beginning to believe that yellow lights equal areas I'm supposed to go to, green lights equal areas I've been before, and red lights equal places I can't go, and this is terrifying. I could tell that those ones were security, so I just went ahead and started shooting. Maybe that makes me a bad person because I just saw some human beings floating in the air and I decided to shoot their faces off. But, dead letters. But in my book, it just makes me slightly less dumb, given the circumstances. It's very funny. If you play lots of video games, and then you're around people who don't play lots of video games, sometimes you do things and they're like, why would you do that? So like Emily is consistently asking me in video games when I'm playing them around her, she's like, why did you shoot that person? Like, they didn't even do anything to you. And I was like, no, their name was Red. They were a bad guy. As soon as they saw me, they were going to shoot me. So I got to jump on them so I wouldn't die. I know they're a bad guy, though, because their name is Bandit and their name is Red. I had a dream, and I built the thing I saw in my dream, a machine that will contain God, but not the God you know or the ones anyone knows, a new God. The machine will be his body, his heart, and his mind. I made it just like the dream showed me. I used the motor from the refrigerator and coils from my toaster and the fans, plus the timing belt for my car's engine and the wheels for my son's skateboard. God can't move yet, but the dream said he would learn how on his own. This is just a beginner's body, like a baby, but a machine instead. God only needs a place to start. If you want to interview me, please contact me at the address on the envelope. My phone does not work anymore. I have to use the dialing plate on God. Okay, this is weird. Okay, sure thing, crazy. I mean, obviously all of this is insane, but I don't know. That one looked a little bit like it was, even the game looks like it was going for, this guy is kind of mentally unstable. It's really dark over there. I could not see it. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, hey. All right. So he had the barrier that they were talking about. And we took care of that. And the game was assuming we were going to have to deal with all of those floating dudes while we were fighting him, but we already dealt with them. So we had a lot easier of a time with it than that would have been had we not jumped the gun and shot those guys. So, once again, not really going to apologize. There's something up there we need to look at, but we have plenty I want to see over here too. Although these are really red, so does that mean the hiss is dangerous here? No, okay. I don't know what's going to dictate if a place is too dangerous to go in. It's definitely not just the color red. Let's work hard. His life is in your hands. I guess the director, I guess? Why didn't the posters update? If the pictures and the portraits and stuff updated with my name and my face, why didn't the posters update to be about Jesse instead of Trench? Huh? Huh? Oldest house? Trench. Greetings, Director Trench. I'd like to thank you for approving my request for the Dead Letters Archive. Cataloging the Bureau's collection of delinquent mail will provide an extremely handy database that research items can use to search for any connections, research teams can use to search for any connections or related topics found among the letters. Aside from more functional purposes, the archive will allow us to preserve those windows into authentic human encounters with the paranatural world. The letters came to us from various places and times, gathered by the Postal Service as undeliverable. The Bureau is the perfect home for them. I realize not all letters contain accounts of genuine paranatural events, but even the erroneous ones allow us insight into how the unknown is perceived by real people. Of course, I will first compile a system to allow us to analyze the letters for any information or suspected connections to Oz and other altered materials. So, thank you again. Can't wait to delve into the Dead Letters, P. Bartwell. Yeah, and that's what the Machine God letter that we read before was one of those. So that is essentially, letters to Santa Claus. Well, that's just appeared. Do as you're told. Don't eat mold. There's something going on in this game about the mold. I was joking about the mold whenever I started, and now it is becoming just patently obvious that the game wants me to think about the mold a lot too. There's like a real connection between the Bureau and mold, whether it's what I was saying or not, I don't know, but anyway, so that was the letters are essentially a collection of people who have sent in letters to someone, which I'm assuming the Bureau is not necessarily who they were sent to initially, that interacted with the paranormal and the weird stuff that happened. Oh, hey, we got a new video here. Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes. Stolen by our friends at the CIA, the disk held the launch codes to Soviet nukes. This is not the disk, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious.
Oh.
A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on.
Oh, goodness.
And it did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us.
Ooh.
It's an object of power. Oh, OP. Oops. Oh, and it can launch things telekinetically through the air. To date, we've launched maybe 3 dozen pencils. And once, we even launched a cup.
Very interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of the Jungian stuff going on in here. Jung had this idea that everyone was connected through the collective unconsciousness. That's a big part of what goes on in Persona. So if you've played Persona, then you know a little bit about it too. Or, you know, you went to like some early philosophy and psychology classes in college or something. You probably heard some stuff about Jung as well. His idea was that our perception of the world kind of forms the world, as opposed to just perceiving it. We actually all together are connected through some sort of collective unconsciousness that helps create the world that we see, you know. And some people, you know, have that sort of like name it and claim it, like manifesting things through thoughts or words sort of idea about how the world works. And it's all kind of based in the same general concept.
We're on the right track.
I don't put any stock in it, but it is always a very interesting concept for a game world to play around with, because it gives you a lot of cool ways that you can play around with urban legends, especially, which is obviously a big part of how this game works. And the idea that dangerous moments in history would create sort of scars on the world is kind of neat, like from a lore perspective. Obviously, I don't think that that's really what happens, but it's just an interesting concept, and it can create for some interesting stuff. Because just the idea of there being this floppy disk in here that has the collective fear of the Cold War and Russia nukes connected to it is pretty interesting. Delays caused by house shifts do not count towards overtime. Spinning out of control? Yes. Acoustic guitar for sale. Turns out it's pretty hard. If interested, see Greg in maintenance, $50. Food left in the refrigerator and containment break room 3B has been known to vanish. Planned accordingly. Don't bring your dogs into the office. Some of us have allergies. Book club. Enjoy literature, something intellectual conversations, then join something book club. Hard for me to read. Maybe you guys can read it better than I can, because I'm a little ways from the TV too. To the new people in the oldest house. Okay. So I don't see anything here like super necessary or interesting. There is another note here about mold. There was another note here about mold. Okay. I know I'm wasting time. I know that you guys are here to see the game, not watch me be a goofball, wander around in circles, and talk about philosophy and psychology. But anyway, come on, we gotta read the posters. They're in the game. Some of the lore, it's the deep-seated lore, guys. Man, there's a lot of blood around here. Oh, hi. Oh, goodness. Sir, are you alive? Something tells me there's a floppy disk in there with the perceived collective unconsciousness of the Cold War attached to it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have witnessed what I just did, and I wouldn't have just watched that video. So, interesting. We'll get to that in a second, but obviously there's some off-the-beaten-path stuff to check out here really quick. Book club notes for Penny. So this is, hey, we just read about the book club. See, guys, all time back together. By L. Simpson. So I don't usually read a lot of sci-fi, but as far as space operas go, this was all right. The title, Unless You, could refer to a bunch of things in the book, I guess, but I thought it was a little vague and stupid. The way the characters kept throwing it around almost like a catchphrase got real annoying real fast. That is, you know, kind of... The best part of the story was the space battles. I sided with the Fixers, obviously, because they had the coolest tech and their motives made the most sense to me. Honestly, if I had to choose between some hoity-toity flowers and guns space hippies or a bad bunch of warriors who go around devouring planets like cheap sushi on a Sunday, I know who I'm picking. that scene where they invade City Planet and convert the entire population using those brain worms, and that space dog fight between those two ace pilots, sign me up. What kind of ruined the whole thing for me was when my favorite character got killed, not even halfway through the story, by getting a battery cylinder launched into his face by a gravitational anomaly. His death didn't feel quite necessary. Samson? Is that you, Samson? Is that Samson? Is that a reference to the way that that guy just died? Oh. Interesting. That's quite unfortunate. And did the... Oh, what if this, the collective unconsciousness, like, brought about that as his death because this is what he was thinking about and worrying about? Unfortunate. Okay, well, let's figure out...
Object of power. Looks like the piss have latched onto it.
Gosh! Oh, 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 oh! Oh, 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 oh! Oh, gosh, balls! Okay, well, that was rude. Luckily there's a door over here that I can go through. This would be helpful for me to get maybe over there. Oh, no, this is the wrong way. Darn it! I was hoping that this was like gonna be a door at this end, and that was gonna, okay, whatever. Energy recovery, okay, yeah, we may need energy recovery soon, because I know that the game has stuff in it about, I know you can use telekinesis in parts of this game, so I'm assuming that this is how we get that ability. That would make the most sense. Oh, we don't have a card for that yet. Boy. I can't tell. I think that's a sealed door. So we want to go here. We're going to go up this way and get towards the data disk by getting higher up. Looks like we have to. And then we have to run across this catwalk. We're just going to sprint. I'm sure that they expect me to crouch and then, like, use those panels as defense while we go across, but, like, let's face it, sprinting is going to work just as well. Okay, reach the object of power and cleanse it. Okay, oh, okay, here we go. Well, that was easy. Good thing it just decided to not do anything that dangerous to us while we were right in front of it. So yeah, whatever entity... Ooh, floppy disk nuke can be bound. To gain launch telekinesis, teach us to believe, Director.
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in Bureau Seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
Okay, E to grab highlighted, E to launch. Ah, sweet. Okay, so this area that I'm in now is the pyramid. This is the board's world. They're in charge here. They decide what happens. Interesting. Okay. So also that's the energy recharge, I'm assuming. You saw there's like a meter went halfway down whenever I picked this up. So I think that's what's gonna recharge. So launch, align, cubes. There we go. Interesting. Very cool. That's a good feeling mechanic, you know, like there's a lot of oomph behind the telekinesis in this game. I'm happy with that. A lot of the things in this game have a lot of weight behind them, and I truly do appreciate it. Back in the day, whenever I would play Marvel Ultimate Alliance, that's what it was. Any of the characters that had like telekinesis and you could pick up like random objects and like fling them at people was like legit fun to mess with. Okay. Gotta wait for my energy to recover a little bit. Man, that's a good feeling. Like, well done, game. Oh, that one missed. Because that one I didn't have like the target thing. Unstable matter. You guys, can you guys? Oh, you guys can't see that. Oh, hey, hello. Sorry, I was looking at the capture. Please die. Go away. Okay, hide. It's interesting that I have the hiss is burrowing into the astral plane's secret base. The board of directors are in the astral plane. The astral plane is their domain. Are they the ones that cause the objects of power to exist? Very interesting. I think the board is more involved than one might think. Found and delivered. I wanted you guys to be able to see. Ooh. Hiss is seeking our astral plane.
There you are. You were gone. Cut off.
Uh-oh.
I got it. Just like you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
Okay, I gotta be careful. There's lots of bad guys here right now, and I'm sure the game wants me to practice using my new special ability on them, which means that they're probably intending for this to be a pretty dangerous area, because they're like, oh yeah, you can handle this, you just got superpowers. Okay, we got a bag of laundry here. Where are you? Gotcha. Okay. I was hoping you guys would be able to see my Steam achievements, and I thought I even had the settings set where you would be able to see them, but you didn't, so that's unfortunate. I mean, there's ups and downs to that, because honestly, like, the downside of being able to see my Steam achievements and stuff is that if, like, a friend comes online, you'll see that, too. Whoa, apparently if there's nothing to grab, I'll just literally rip the floor up. Huh, okay, neato. All right, sure, why not? Okay, so we're getting close to calling it here. We're gonna go ahead and leave this area and make sure we didn't miss anything. But that's a pretty good place to end, and I feel pretty good about it. This is a, you know, the game's opening up. This is the story's starting to like unfold into some real interesting mysteries, and our abilities are starting to really become something worth looking at and thinking about. You know, having a gun that has rechargeable bullets was one thing, but you know, telekinesis where I can fling things around in the world and destroy my foes with a thought is that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. A little bit more. So, all right, I think that is a good place to go ahead and end it for today. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, we will see you in the next one. Yeah, I really enjoy Control so far, and you know, I really like this concept, as I've said before, and recently I found out that SCP Unity got scrapped. Unfortunately, and the sad part is it's not just that it's not going to be, they're not going to keep developing it, but the poor guy who made it is like apparently like having some super major health problems, so I feel really bad for him. And so we're not getting more cool SCP, although I did see something about a new SCP thing, but it's not the same thing. It's not SCP Containment Breach anymore. We're gonna have other like single entity SCP games, which is what they kind of started out as, but Containment Breach is the one that really kicked it off. So I know I'm like talking about a completely different game here, but I'm excited to play something like this, especially knowing that some of the other stuff that kind of is in the genre has come to an end, and just kind of abruptly too, without a lot of warning. So I really appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you in the next one. I'll just be recording another one of these right now and have it ready for the next day that I am not playing a single one-off cool little mini horror game. So thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one. For now, this is Nathan Blake signing off for Nathan Blake Games, reminding you games are art. Art is important, and so are you. Sayonara.